Hello, everybody. Slothalopolis here with the Average Gamer Guys, and I am seeing what Xur has on Nessus in the Watcher's Grave. He's going to be up in the big tree where he is repeatedly surprised. Destiny 2 is being super repetitive. I think that's something we kind of all expected, but it's kind of frustrating to see here as of late. And spoiler alert, that is what we're going to see with some of the items that Xur has for us today. But before we get ahead of ourselves, we will take a look. We have an exotic grenade launcher called the Prospector. First of all, it looks pretty freaking sweet. I really like the old Western swirly gold on silver kind of look. Its abilities are the excavation, hold right trigger to fire grenades. Let me add in at full auto speed, and then you release it to detonate all of those grenades simultaneously. So you can kind of think of this as a grenade launcher version of the Wardcliffe coil in a certain aspect. I'm actually going to get it and I'm actually going to try it out. I know grenade launchers are not really viewed as fantastic, but I'm thinking for PvE, this thing may not be that bad. Just being able to spit out rounds and have them all explode kind of when you want on demand seems pretty nice. And honestly, I'm just not a big fan of the Wardcliffe coil. It's a little too inconsistent. It just kind of sprays stuff everywhere instead of hitting what I actually want. So it's kind of a blunderbuss type thing where, it's impossible to miss within 20 yards, but it's impossible to hit anything after 20 yards. So I'm hoping the Prospector brings me a little bit more consistency with that. Because that's something that I would actually really appreciate. So honestly, don't just write this thing off because it's a grenade launcher. I know grenade launchers are not viewed as very good right now, but honestly, it's worth a shot, I think. The foe tracer for the hunters, I have been using Knucklehead Radar, which I find to be a little bit more superior. But honestly, this thing isn't bad, other than it just being super ugly. The Relentless Tracker ability visually marks targeted enemies and deals more damage to low health marked enemies. So PvE in that aspect, your normal enemies are not going to be really affected. They're just going to be too low health. You're not even going to really save any rounds, to be 100% honest. But if you are running Nightfalls, if you are running raids, if you're doing all of that stuff where you have higher health enemies, you can get them down to that 25% health range where you start getting a health benefit or a damage benefit from it. So honestly, PvE is probably not bad as long as you don't care what you look like. I can't stand the way this thing looks. I hate that the preview isn't popping up, but uh, PvP, the tracking ability is going to be worth it by itself if you don't have any of the really high tier hunter class exotics already. This thing is going to be able to help track your enemies, follow them, kind of help you prevent from chasing, I would say, into a more hunting. And I think that's a really big difference because chasing can get you killed very quickly. Hunting them down and while tracking them can actually really help finish the process and kind of seal the deal for you. So if you don't care what you look like, give it a shot. See what you think. I honestly think Knucklehead Radar is just a better jack of all trade type of thing for the hunters. The Titan class has the insurmountable Skull Fort. This has the Transfusion Matrix, which kills with arc melee abilities, trigger health regeneration, and restore melee energy. Now, PvE, sure, you get kills consistently with melees, and you can chain them together. Um, the one big thing that I don't really like about a lot of the exotics, unless it's very clearly the best uh, ability for you, the best elemental choice for you, is I don't like that you have to have the specific arc class. Now, with that said, the striker class, I think it was the top skill tree for Titans, actually works pretty decently with this to give you back your melee energy, and you chain a bunch of stuff together. Honestly, that's nice. Um, I only see this working PvE against lower tier enemies because you can consistently get melee kills with against lower kind of health pool weaker enemies in PvE. You're just not going to get them consistently in PvP. It's definitely not my playstyle, but I've never seen anybody really get consistent melee kills in PvP. It's just not worth it. It's a really pretty looking helmet. I think it's kind of neat. It reminds me of the discotheques from Rocket League, but other than that, I mean, this is kind of has to be a PVE wonder for me. I have another world. We've talked about it many times. Every time I freaking come to Xur, this is what they're offering for the Warlocks. Um, this to me is my favorite uh, Warlock helmet because it's a jack of all trades. That's really to me the biggest benefit for it. I love the Void subclass, and that means things like Crown of Tempests is just not going to be useful to me at all. This thing is very much so a middle of the road, do everything type of helmet. PVE, I mean, it's okay. It's nice. I mean, honestly, PVE is not really my focus, to be 100% honest. So that probably helps me in this aspect of I Have Another World. But highlighting the priority targets is pretty nice. I will say that. But you kind of see here improves the regen speed of grenades, melee, and rift abilities. It just helps with everything a little bit. So it's basically like having three of these little mods for everything. So that's pretty cool. I like that it helps with all of your abilities. PvP, that tracking does help a lot, I think. Sorry, tracking is the wrong word. It just highlights. It's not going to highlight them through walls and stuff like the foe tracer will. But having all of those abilities come back quickly because I'm going to be using them all pretty consistently and pretty quickly in PvP to always try to get that leg up. Having them all come back is pretty nice, and highlighting them for me is pretty cool because I'm half blind and also stupid. But honestly, though, all kidding aside, it's a fantastic helmet. I love it. I love the way it looks, and to me, I think this is the best Warlock helmet. I'm probably going to get yelled at for that by a lot of people, but honestly, this is my favorite. It just looks solid and it does its job without question. So those are our four items. If you feel like you're getting nothing but helmets as of late from Xur, join the freaking club. Those have been consistently the only items that I have that are worth a crap, and I just keep getting them. So that is Xur's week 9. We will try and stay a little bit consistent with Xur. I like being able to throw out kind of how we feel about things and actually how they are going to react to gameplay more so than me just saying, yeah, I don't really like them. They kind of suck, and then just walking away. So hopefully that is more helpful for you. And as we get closer to DLC and hopefully more weapons and things, that will be a nice thing to have on there. So for Doc, I am Slothalopolis. We are the Average Gamer guys, and I have really appreciated you spending time with me, and I hope to see you next time.